I am Ronel Ragudo, a BSED 2 Social Studies student, and today I will be presenting you my final demonstration in the subject TTL2 or Technology for Teaching and Learning 2. Start. Good day students, I am your teacher for today. I am Mr. Ronel Ragudo, and before we're going to proceed into our discussion, who wants to read the prayer? Me, sir. Dear God, thank you for the good day and the good health that you have given to us every day, and hope that you will enlighten our minds, that we're going to be able to understand the lessons easily and effectively, and hope that we're going to gain some knowledge in today's meeting. This we ask through Christ our Lord and Savior. Amen. Okay. Before you are going to take your seats, please pick up some pieces of trashes beside your seats or chairs before we're going to go into our discussion for today. Okay?
A few moments later.
Thank you for cleaning your areas. Now, before we're going to check your attendance, anyone from the group who can recall our topic last meeting? Anyone? Me, sir. Last meeting, we discussed the different types and examples of culture such as customs, laws, dress, architecture, styles, religious beliefs, and traditions. We also tackled the common cultural practices here in the Philippines, such as Bayanihan culture, hospitality culture, the Manana culture, the Pahalan attitude, and etc. We also discussed the different types of ethno-linguistic groups here in the Philippines, such as the Filipinos, Lumads, the Maranaos, and Ilocano. That's all. So before we're going to proceed to our activity, I guess you're very excited with that. Let me check first your attendance. Okay. Fundador Marcelo.
Present.
Potenciano Enriquez.
Present, sir.
Present. Okay, repeat. Start.
Motivational activity.
Let's have some game or motivational questions to test your guts and knowledge for our topic for today. So I'll be flashing some scrambled words and you have to arrange them and speak the answer so that you can earn the points. So the more points you can earn, the more chances of winning. Okay, start.
Instructions. In order to acquire the points, you have to fix the scrambled letters given at the top of the screen. The ones who could arrange it will get the points. Please be ready.
Tama sides.
Dominicans.
Kalipata.
Tutors. Spanish. Americans.
Tribal.
Priest. Treaty of Paris.
Colonial. Very good. So the winner for the game was the result was 5 points for Mr. Fundador Marcelo and 4 points for Mr. Potenciano Enriquez. Not bad, right? So now we're going to proceed to our discussion for our topic for today. And our topic for today is all about the history of educational system during pre-Spanish period, Spanish period, and American period in the Philippines. Okay, are you ready? The education during this time was fit for the needs of their times. There was no formal schooling. Education was oral, practical, and hands-on. Parents trained their children informally. Mothers educated their female children in housekeeping, weaving, basket making, and other agricultural-related activities. While fathers trained their male children hunting, carpentry, agriculture, shipbuilding, and mining. Skills taught would vary on the industries and locations. They called their teachers as tribal tutors, so they are considered as the teachers during this time. The education was during this period was decentralized. Children were provided more vocational training, but less for academics. Hands-on, which were headed by their parents by their tribal tutors. They all used a technique system known as baybayin. So the term baybayin was a Tagalog term which means to spell. It is also known as alibata, wherein it is an ancient writing system that was used in what is now in the Philippines. Thus, it was all extinguished by Western colonizers, but variants of it are still used in parts of the Philippines, such as Mindoro and Palawan, and it's increasingly used by Filipino youths as a way of expressing their identities. So meaning, before the Spanish arrived here in the Philippines, we already have our own educational system, but it's just informal. It's just lesser academics. Unlike today, academics is not more on hands-on or education during the Spanish period. When the Spanish first arrived in the Philippines, education of the indigenous people was mainly viewed as the study of religious organizations. Parish priors put forth a great effort to teach the indigenous people to read, believing that literacy was the key to better lifestyle. Friars established parochial schooling with churches to teach catechism to the natives. So education was mainly managed by priests. So they are the one who teaches the students or the Filipino students. The oldest universities, college, vocational schools, and the first modern public education system in Asia were created during this colonial period. The main focus of education during the Spanish colonization in the Philippines was mainly religious education because in the first place, Spanish colonized us to spread Christianity. The Catholic doctrine schools that were set up initially became parochial schools which taught reading and writing along with catechism. The Spanish missionaries established schools immediately after reaching the island. So the first is the Augustinians opened a school in Cebu in 1565 there. Then Jesuits followed in 1881. That one. Then the Dominicans in 1587, which they started a school in their first mission at Bataan. The Franciscans in 1577 immediately took to the task of teaching improving literacy aside from the reading of new industrial and agricultural techniques. During this time also, boys mainly have given opportunities to go to school and study, while females or the girls were just left in the house to do the household chores and not allowed to go to school. However, in 1863, an educational decree mandated the establishment of free primary schools in each town, one for boys and one for girls. There were 3 grades, the Entrada, Ascenso, and Termino. The curriculum required the study of Christian doctrine, values, and history, as well as reading and writing in Spanish, mathematics, agriculture, etiquette, singing, world geography, and Spanish history. Girls were also taught sewing. The decree also provided for a normal school run by Jesuits to educate male teachers in Manila. Normal schools for women teachers were not established. Philippine educational system during the American period. So I'll just give you first a short history of the arrival of the Americans here in the Philippines. American expeditionary forces were sent to the Philippines with a mission to destroy the Spanish Armada in Manila Bay as part of the strategy to defeat the Spaniards in the Spanish-American War raging at the time in Cuba. The Americans won, and on the Treaty of Paris on December 10, 1898, the Philippines was ceded to the United States by the Spanish for a paltry sum of $20 million. 1898, American occupied Manila, and then the schools was reopened where American soldiers were the first teachers at that time. Then the medium of instruction was English. During this time, education of the American system was education should be universal and free for all, regardless of sex, age, religion, and socioeconomic status of an individual. Education was the means of giving people an orientation towards a democratic way of life. Focus of the educational system during this time is to train Filipinos in the democratic way of life, citizenship, moral character, and fundamentals of vocational education. During the reopen of the schools, they established the public primary schools in 1901 under the Act Number 74, and intermediate school in 1904, which provides free public education. And then they also required all provinces to maintain a provincial high school through the Act Number 372. Then during 1901, Philippine Normal School was founded to train teachers. Then 1801, the University of the Philippines, or UP Manila, was established. Here. Tamasites. Tamasites are the group of professionals sent by the United States government who were assigned to teach English language. They are teachers also. So, next, the American influences in the educational system and in the curriculum. First is the use of the English language is the main language to be used in any sort of education. Next, the formal education. The students were given free school materials. There were three levels of education during the American period. The elementary period, or the level, consisted of 4 primary years and 3 intermediate years. The secondary, or the high school level, consisted of 4 years. And the third was college or tertiary level, and also the vocational education. With the regards of the 4 pillars of education, the learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. So learning to know. Education is free for all. Education is a means of giving people an orientation towards the democracy. Teaching English language, emphasize the 3 R's, the reading, writing, and arithmetic. Then learning to do. The curriculum gives importance to technical and vocational skills. Learning to live together. Education during this time emphasizes on democracy and importance of people participation in the decision making. Because unlike the Spanish period, opinions are not allowed. Yes. Learning to be. Education in this period includes induction of good manner and right conduct.
So in this portion, I will be asking you some questions regarding our topic earlier. So in your opinion, what are the things or practices during the Spanish period that is actually present nowadays? wants to answer?
Me, sir. For me, sir, the practices during the Spanish period that was still present nowadays are the way we talk or the languages that we use every day, such as if we count uno, dos, tres, cuatro, etc. Then the household chores that we usually do every day. For example, female members in the family were in charge of the works which are lighter, and men are in charge for the heavier one. And sir, also if you have noticed, several of our family names were usually Spanish, such as Garcia, Gonzalez, Lopez. That is one of the influence that we got from the Spanish.
Very good. So aside from the educational system that we have able to acquired or practice nowadays, we've also been practicing those traditions from Spanish and Americans. Okay, now, how about Mr. Marcelo? What do you think among of the two colonizers, Americans and Spanish, most influenced us?
For me, sir, the colonizers who made a great influence into our culture, tradition, and etc. Is the Spanish relay. Because if you'll imagine how long we were colonized by Spanish, and I think it's 555 years. Even though our educational system and how we used to talk is now we're now currently using English, and Spanish is not anymore very common. But for that years, we are now, and I can say that we are almost already Spanish from our last name, and the bloods that flowing into our veins are usually Spanish already.
Yes, that's right. Good idea. And in fact, we are also thankful in disguise of what our ancestors have given to us or introduced to us, including our educational system, because it have changed our life significantly. So before we're going to proceed to our activity or the quiz, any question?
Sir, I have a question. What if we Filipinos was not been colonized by Americans or Spanish or Chinese or Japanese? What will happen to us? Well, that's a very nice question, Mr. Marcelo. Thanks for bringing that up. Well, if we've not been colonized by both Spanish, Americans, Japanese or Chinese, maybe we are not who we are today, because the Spanish brought us our nationality, or our as our beings, the both culture, tradition, the way we do things was coming from Spanish, and Americans brought us the technologies and everything. And imagine if we were not colonized by both of them, we are not who we are today, and we are not the thing that you can imagine. The ones that I speak, which is English, was coming from the influence from the Americans, and we are currently speaking Alibata, or the traditional language that we have when American and or Spanish this doesn't arrive here in the Philippines during the pre-Spanish period. So if you imagine that is who we are maybe today. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
scores are here, so very good. Give it up. So before we're going to end this class, any question?
No more, sir.
Further question? Clarifications?
sir.
None? So, since there are no more questions, may I call on Mr. Potenciano to lead the closing prayer. Okay?
Dear God, thank you for this day and the good health that you have given to us, the knowledge you have shared, and hope that you will always enlighten our minds for the new and coming topics. This we ask through Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.